iron. This is part 4. Now we're going to go back and look at iron as far as sufficiency, deficiency, and luxury consumption in the plant. Iron sufficiency. We're looking at a sufficient amount of iron at 50 to 100 micrograms iron per gram of dry matter. So that's about 50 to 100 parts per million. Remember, 50 to 100 parts per million still means it's a micronutrient. Macronutrients, we're talking over 1,000 parts per million. So this is still a micronutrient. Most soils have adequate iron, therefore problems are of availability. It's not that you don't have iron in the soil, it's you're not getting it into the plant. Therefore, you have to be able to check things out. You may need to look at your soil pH. Inorganic iron depends on pH. We said that most soils are not deficient in iron. Iron is often picked up by siderophores that are secreted out, and these siderophores help pull the material in. We looked at some monocots. When we look at iron, sufficiency is rather well defined. Deficiency. Here comes the interesting part. Deficiency is similar to magnesium in that there is failure in chlorophyll production. We need iron in order to be able to produce chlorophyll. We don't have enough iron, we don't get chlorophyll production. We see similar symptoms as magnesium. Symptoms always start with the younger leaves, which means it's not being transported around. You need it in much higher concentration in the younger leaves. You get leaf growth restricted. Leaf and root growth may also be decreased. There will be changes in the internal structure of the chloroplast, which means you get decreased grana because you are not getting enough chlorophyll produced. We get changes because they're not functioning properly, which results in an increase of organic anions, amino acids, and nitrate. None of these are good for plants. Deficiency is often found with organic or calcareous soils. Calcareous soils means our pH is going to be much higher. Organic means that we've got a lot of other materials that can bind onto iron and hold onto it. That creates a problem. Deficiency may be increased by elevated pH or high phosphorus levels. With phosphorus competition, we've got to be able to make sure these are properly balanced. This is deficiency. This is potato. You can see the very yellowish color on the potato on the younger leaves, where the older leaves seem to be fine. When we look at this, we could go, nitrogen deficiency. Yes, it could. It could be magnesium deficiency. Yes, it could. It could be iron deficiency. Yes, it could. Question is, which is more likely, and is it a temporary deficiency? Because we're getting a lot of plant growth, very general symptoms, we just don't have enough information to be able to classify this based on symptom alone. This is another plant. It looks like a raspberry or blackberry. You can see the yellowish coloration on the younger leaves as they are forming. As you look back towards the older leaves, we start to have more chlorophyll in them. Deficiency is problematic. To check this, one way is to run tissue and soil analysis. Luxury consumption. Luxury consumption is not to the benefit of the plant. Too much iron can be toxic inside of the plant. Iron has to be compartmentalized inside the plant. Most soils have adequate levels of iron. Therefore, we don't normally deal with luxury consumption. Toxicity. Toxicity is too much of something. Toxicity has been reported in flooded rice soils. The level of solubility of iron plus 2 increases and large amounts are taken up by plants, and this becomes a problem. It often causes symptomology called bronzing, and this can be associated with the potassium deficiency. All right, now we're throwing potassium into the mix as well. So we've got to have all of these elements in there in order to be able to have sufficient amounts. This shows you rice with iron toxicity. You can see why it's called bronzing because you're getting this bronze color. You can see bronzing. You can see flecking. This is due to too much iron. Sources and application. Adding iron salts does not increase iron as the salts are often oxidized, which means we've got to find a different way of applying them. If the iron salts become oxidized, it just becomes part of the soil iron pool, which means it's not getting into the plant. Therefore, if we're going to add iron, we don't necessarily do it as a salt-based material. Foliar application with chelates is the most effective part. Iron deficiency is one of these things that we often deal with on golf courses and certain other types of agricultural areas. On a golf course, we know they put down enough nitrogen. We know they've got a fertility regime as well. all of a sudden you get this yellowing out, which is due to iron deficiency. What they do is take an iron chelate that you purchase at your local supply store, and the iron chelate is mixed with water in a soluble form. It is sprayed on the plant. It's one of the most amazing things you can see when you're doing this. You spray this stuff on the plant. You turn around and you can see the color changing. You're back to an absolute normal color in 5 to 10 minutes. It's almost like spray on paint. Only thing is there's no paint. Iron chelate gets picked up so rapidly by the plant, it corrects the deficiency right then. In the beginning of the year, when you plant, you want to make sure you've got all of your soils properly analyzed to make sure you've got the right amounts of everything in it. Then, if need be, you're going to apply iron when you start seeing the symptomology. If you've got a small garden area, you do the same thing. If you're working with vegetables and you start seeing the problem like this, you mix up a hand sprayer and you spray the stuff on. It's like absolute magic. So when we deal with iron in application, normally iron application is done after the crop is already growing. It's done in the form of foliar application. You see results very quickly. Now, if you do that because you thought it was iron and it doesn't work out and you aren't getting the color change, now you've got to go back and look at it. Did you put enough nitrogen down? Do you have enough magnesium in the soil? What else could be causing this? Iron, very interesting in here. You don't need much of it in the soil. Iron biochemically is extremely important in the plant.